Welcome everybody to the show. Great to have you with us on Green Shoots. I'm Ryan Ballengee. Today, my guest is a fellow Ryan. It's Ryan Morrison. He is the founder and CEO of Skins App, and he's here to talk to us about founding an app around kind of golf and golf competition for us mere mortals, and how that kind of all works in the growing golf ecosystem that we've got right now in our game. So Ryan, thanks for being here, first of all. And the first question I tend to ask anybody is, what made you decide to do this? How did you decide to get into this business? And what was your background that kind of led you to this point?
Great question. Thanks for having me, Ryan, first of all. So pleasure to talk to you and your audience. I think it's a lot of COVID was the driver for a lot of new golf that was coming out technologically or anything else that was going on. COVID happened. I lived in Colorado and I was going out, and I'm an avid golfer. I've been playing since I was 3 years old. My dad was a PGA of America section professional in a small town in Iowa where I was from. So I got started at an early age, and I've been playing my whole life. I played competitively when I was younger, went down to Arizona State, thought I was going to play. They were a heck of a lot better than I was, kind of thing. So I figured it out pretty quick. So COVID came around and I'm out golfing a lot, right? And we're up at the TPC in Colorado, and it's your typical story. We're going out and we're playing Banker, we're playing Wolf, we're playing Vegas, we're playing all these games. And it's always on a scorecard. And so there were some things that during that time, for some reason, that just kind of clicked for me. Was one, new games were coming up. What are these new games? What are the rules? What are the bets? The guy who has the scorecard never seems to really know what the math is, so you're always checking in with him. There's a bunch of erasing and scribbles, and you can't read it. And then I had a buddy, frankly, that I was playing that whole summer that got down to me pretty big. And I'm not the type of guy to go harass a friend for money, right? That's just not me. But he ends up coming out one day, beats me. I owe him like $100. His tab was like $500.
Yeah.
And that Venmo, Ryan, hit my phone so fast, right? And so essentially it was kind of these combination of things. It was just, learning new games and what are the rules and how do we keep track of them and where are we at in the leaderboard and people settling up their bets that made me go, well, why are we doing these on scorecards? And all the guys that are playing have been playing their whole lives and are really good golfers. This was a scratch golfers group. Okay.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure out why that was going on. So I started taking a look at the market, and I really didn't feel like there was an app that was doing on-course golf gaming justice, right? So I decided, all right, let's go do it then. And we founded the Skins app. So you can find us going skinsapp.com. You can find us on the App Store, Skins app. And I found a buddy who was an engineer, right? A developer. I said, hey, this is my idea. What do you think? And that just kind of got the wheels turning. Okay. Now, the process between that exact moment and where we are today as an entrepreneur is kind of a crazy experience. Okay. So, background on me, I was a sales guy, right? So, I've formed companies in the past and I do real estate and stuff like that, but I've always been a sales leader in sales leadership for technology companies. Okay. And so I've never been on the development side. I've worked together with developers, but never this intimately like I did with an app. And so, kind of this process of just figuring out how to start an app company. Ryan, if I was to ask myself 10, 15 years ago, would you start an app company some point in time in your life? The answer would have been emphatically no, right? So it's kind of interesting how I came to this place, and I'm glad that I did, frankly.
What did you identify initially as the things that you wanted to see fixed in an app that you couldn't have addressed with something that was on the market?
It was heavily GPS focused on apps that were already out there. Really
Yeah.
poor UI UX design as far as how the user engaged the app for the gamification side. So really what we wanted to do is we said, okay, where is golf at right now, right at this exact moment? And so we took a look at the gaming side. We took a look at how the apps existed in the marketplace, and we focused strictly on gaming, right? There's a term that we use is gamification with Skins. It's because that's where we want to focus. We want to focus on competition and then enhancing it with technology. So we went out and that's where we focused first. Now, where we're going, I don't know if you saw this, but we just announced a partnership with Troon Golf. It was a big
Yep.
announcement, took place a couple of weeks ago. Where we really want to take this thing is we want to enhance the game from here. And there's going to be some things that are going to be coming out in really short order. I'd love to come back and tell your audience about it. In tech, you want to launch it first, right? We pretty much
Yep.
have it done, but it's going to truly change the game as far as competition is concerned, right? For golfers that just want to go out and golf with their buddies. So kind of be looking for that. But essentially at the end of the day, our whole goal and our whole vision is Don't do any of the stuff that bogs down the app. Don't get into the GPS space and the shot track space and so on and so forth. Our app is for those that are strictly competitive golfers, right? They're going out with groups, whether it's big skins tournaments, 40, 100 players, or if it's single games that you're playing like Vegas or Wolf, or if you're playing a skins game and you want to layer Wolf together. Our app facilitates all that very beautifully, right? And so that's really our core focus for what we want to do as a company.
Yeah, you just mentioned something that comes up a lot in a lot of folks I play with. You wind up playing 2 or 3 games at the same time.
That's right.
You're playing a skins, playing nines, playing God knows what else, Nassau, side match, all those different things. And it's really easy to wind up just going, just tell me what I owe you at the end to the
100%.
person who's got the pencil. And now you have the app that just tells you what you've won or owed at the end and kind of can put it all together. Did the development side of that, was that hard to communicate to a developer what you wanted and how you wanted to layer all of these different facets of different games together?
That's a great question. When you work with developers, okay, what I have found, and this is just my limited experience over the last couple of years working directly with developers, I was very fortunate. Our CTO is one of the best senior developers you're ever going to come across, period. The guy's developed his own framework called Respond that's going to be hitting out into the open space here pretty soon. He's just a really intelligent, well thought out app development guy with 20 plus years experience, right? But a lot of the times on the development side, those developers don't play golf. James is that way, our CTO. He wasn't a golfer, okay? So the key is you have to really spend a lot of time up front, truly being able to communicate, this is what the design needs to look like, this is what it needs to feel like, this is how a user progresses through the app, here's the things that the app needs to do. And it takes a lot of communication. And developers speak a different language than the rest of us do. Okay. So you have to really understand who you're working with and how do you best communicate your vision to them. And, you know, a lot of them like to spend a lot of time on email, or they'll Slack or email. That's kind of their preferred method. And our CTO works throughout the night. So he'll start at 7 o'clock at night and work till 7 in the morning. So, it's really all about getting in Figma, understanding how you're going to design the wireframes, really thinking through the UI UX experience, getting it to your CTO so that he truly understands it, and then communicating the right way so that your vision can kind of come to light. And being flexible enough to know that you're going to change things, man. It's going to happen, right? You're going to have little bugs here and there, and you're going to get feedback from users, say, hey, what you thought was a great idea for UI UX design, people maybe struggle with. I think we've done an incredible job of making the experience easy. So that's a kudos to our development, right? And so I would just tell you that's kind of the process. But just look, man, be ready for long nights and truly spending a lot of time getting to know them so that you're on the same page.
Yeah. I mean, in a past life, I worked in project management side, not as much the development and coding side, and that having that rapport with the person you're working with or the team you're working with, man, that goes such a long way. If you can just be on the same wavelength instead of having, like you said, get on a Slack channel, get on an email, and just bullet point, a ton, just lots of explanation. The more intuitive it is between you and your team, the better chance you have of success. For your team, did they bring anything to you in terms of UI, UX, logic, user experience, whatever that you want it to be, that maybe you didn't anticipate and turned out to be a great idea?
Oh, man, 100%. 100%. One thing, if you're a non-technical founder, okay, which I am, okay, I can't go out and React Native or Redux. I can't go program in JavaScript, right? It's not my skill set. And so you have to truly have an understanding of who your developer is. And James just has a wealth of experience. So it makes it easier on me because he can see the pitfalls coming before they come. A lot of what you build is kind of stacking on top of itself, right? So there's a couple things that come with that. Number one, you have to have a strong framework to be able to build on top. Building an on-course golf gaming app like we did, I'm going to tell you right now, is not for the faint of heart, okay? Meaning it is not easy. If you've ever played golf, you know there's all these different games with all these different rules, and to create a unique experience that communicates all those things, but makes it easy for people to navigate and layer games and do tournaments, which we can all do in our app, is really incredible. And it's a testament to James. So, just understanding little nuanced things of how certain things work inside of your app really kind of comes from him. Plus, our UI UX design guy, Doug, he's a full-time Meta employee, right? So, he's somebody we met through TopTal, through another consultant friend of mine, and got to work with him, incredible relationship, and he does such a great job. Having somebody who's strong on UI UX who can really communicate to a front end developer and a back end developer is extremely important, right? Those three pieces have to fit together. And so if you're non-technical, you need to find the best that you can possibly find in those particular areas so everything is cohesive. On the back end, you really want somebody who is a front and back end developer, so a full stack developer, somebody who can do it all. And that's really what James is. So he made it easy on me, right?
When you were developing, and you kind of talked about your experience being with groups of play, 4, 8, 12, I'm assuming kind of groups of players.
Yeah.
What are the differences in trying to develop for that number of players versus going and doing tournaments of maybe 48, 50, higher numbers of people that might be outings who are trying to have games going on, as opposed to maybe that kind of more intimate 1, 2, 3 group?
Well, the best thing about our app is you can do both. So say you can start a tournament, a skins tournament in skins, and you can have 100 players in it.
Okay.
You can have 200 players in it. The key is that, somebody is going to be a host. It's empowering somebody instead of having to go get a GGID number through, Golf Genius. All I literally do is pick up my phone, go to the skins app, hit start tournament, and I can set up a tournament code. It's a 4-digit code that I can give out to everybody who can come into the app. And the group host can put in that code, and then they can launch their own group. And then if they want to, while they're part of this whole 100-man skins tournament, if they want to play Wolf or Banker inside of their group, no problem. Here's where it gets difficult, right? So our app has the ability to have large tournaments, layering games inside of those tournaments, and then layering games on top of that. So you could be in a 100-man skins tournament, have your group play Wolf, and then you and I, Ryan, in that same group, we could play a side Nassau if we wanted to, all on one score entry. Now, that is incredibly difficult, right? So when you layer games, there's some things you got to think about. When you're playing Banker, you're pressing, right? A lot of the times you press the bet. Okay.
Yep.
So if you're inputting a score, that press button is there. So you got to be thinking about, okay, if I'm going to layer a game, we can't have a score entry that has a whole different set of buttons that you have to press in order to be able to convey the bet. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why layering things like stroke play, skins, and Nassau are really the way to layer. Those three types of games are great layering games, right?
Yeah.
If you can play Wolf, then you and I could have a little skins game, or we could have a skins game for the group. Makes it easy. So you got to think those things through. And we did a really good job of that. We really created an app that facilitates that large ecosystem of on-course golf gaming that we know players really want to have, but still makes it easy to set up and do. Now, like anything else, Ryan, people need to learn the app, right? You got to learn those things. We've got a whole how to play section. We got a whole YouTube channel. I'll be adding even more. We just added Scotch. And so Luke Kwan's got a game called Money Match. We just added that this morning to the app. And so there's some cool stuff we've got coming out on the gaming side that we'll continue to build out. But we do have a how-to play. So for folks that are saying, hey, I don't know these games, but want to try to change their Friday game, go check that out. That's a great way to kind of learn more about the app.
I mean, you were saying earlier, there are some games that you were playing with these folks that you weren't familiar with, or people in the group weren't particularly familiar with, and they're good players. And I mean, I deal with that sometimes, of play with somebody I don't regularly play with. Hey, why don't we play this? Well, I need to know what game I'm about to get into. So the content piece of it is probably just as important, especially for people who might not have gotten into a lot of games like this in the past, to know what they're getting into before they maybe put some money on their line.
100% right, man. Banker was the game for me that kind of launched skins. I had never, look, I played my entire life, and I have played for something every time I play. And if you go take a look at the data in the United States, like there's 25 million golfers, okay, that are on the golf course. 83% of them say they bet when they golf.
Yep.
So it's a huge population, okay? And I had played my whole life, and I had never heard of Banker. And when we decided to start playing it that one summer, man, that's all we played, because it's a great game, but it's very complicated to keep on a scorecard, right?
Right.
Yeah. So having something that's smooth and easy to do, that looks good and always tells you where at in the bet and auto settles the bets, like our app at the end will settle the bet and then API out to Venmo, Cash App, and Zelle if you want to auto settle, right? So that's a big deal too, right? So that you don't have buddies taken off and so on and so forth. But to your point, you know, it's tough for people to change their game because they get so used to it being complicated to do on a scorecard that once they figured out that little method or their little spreadsheet, they don't ever deviate from it. Well, throw that stuff away, right? That's what Skins is for. And then you can just go learn the game and go have fun. That should be what it's about. And everybody doesn't have to be on their phone either, right?
Right.
So everybody can go input their score if you want, or you can just have the host, the one person who's on his phone, who can input the scores, and everybody else can just do their thing. That's the beauty of it. Somebody can keep score, but you can always come in and see where you're at.
Yep. For folks who've been using the app,
Yep.
what have you heard from them that maybe in terms of games or features,
Yep.
what have kind of been the most requested things you've heard back from your user base?
It's usually the same thing. It's games, right? There's a couple of games that they wanted. Scotch was one of them. We launched it this morning. I tested. There's one bug. We got to switch it. It's kind of the point piece. That'll be an easy fix for James tonight when he wakes up, because he's a freaking vampire. So he'll wake up and then he'll kind of fix that piece. Scotch, sixes, bingo, bango, bongo. Those are coming in short order. So next couple of days, those will probably be done actually. Money match we did. Big tournaments we did. Layered gaming we did. I'm going to tease something here. Handicaps. Okay. So inside of the app, you set your handicap and you can edit your handicap anytime. Okay. Reason why we did it that way was because we met with the USGA, great folks, could do an API to them, but there were some limitations technologically that we felt were an issue. Okay. And it was not going to play well for the experience for people. So we've kind of got an idea that's going to be a big change, something kind of big that will probably roll out here before the year's up. Okay. And the reason why we want to do it is, and your listeners may know this, I know you will. Man, I'll tell you, the thing with the USGA that drives me crazy, Gin, is I can go put in any score I want at any time, which means how sandbagging happens. And you probably saw this with Foreplay and Foreplay came out and they were like, hey, right? That whole thing was going on. Okay. That is at the core of what we wanted to do. So what I mean by that is that anybody can go into Gin, put in fictitious scores. And so they pad their handicap. So when they're coming up to their member guest or an event like this, they say, oh, I just had a great day. Well, no, you didn't. You literally padded your handicap for the last 3 weeks, right? And now you've got a handicap that isn't really reflective of how you play. Right. So if you think about Skins, as we enhance competition, okay? When you come in here, you're always playing for something. Right now you're playing for money, but pretty soon you're going to be playing for points. Okay, and when that happens, then every time you play, somebody else is verifying your score, right? So when we roll out the handicap side of this thing, we think it's going to be far more accurate than what you'd have at the USGA and Gin, right? Because you don't have the ability to just go in and throw in a bunch of fictitious scores. Really, you're competing and everybody's verifying your score. And I think that for the golfing community at large, that's going to be incredibly important. I mean, I'm a +4, at least until I had 2 daughters. Now I'm probably a 10, right? But I was a +4 for the longest time. And there is nothing more frustrating than playing with somebody that you know for a fact is not their handicap. Okay. And it happens all the time. I remember I was at a member guest event at the TPC in Colorado. The guy was like a 6. I was a +4. I was giving him 10 shots. Okay. I knew within 2 holes that this dude was not a 6. I knew it. Matter of fact, I called him out on the tee box on 2. I said, hey, dude, I've been around golf a long time. I know what a 6 looks like. Okay. You ain't it. You ain't it. Ended up shooting 34 on the front 9. So I was right. Never played the golf course before. And TPC is where they play the Corn Ferry. Very tough course.
Yep. Long course. So mountain course.
This is an issue for me. And it's something that, we're passionate about as Skins. And frankly, we're going to solve once and for all. But of course, the more folks that we have on our app, the more folks that are going out and competing, the better data we can get. That's a little hint as to kind of what we're doing. And then we're going to kind of roll something out. So stay tuned for that.
Well, as someone who is a plus and is on that end of the negotiation a lot of the time, that will be very much appreciated.
Yeah, man, it's the worst. It's the worst.
It is net golf is not fun golf for people on this side
No.
of giving strokes.
Well, hey, and I want to say something to that. Okay, so because you're a plus handicap, I think you're gonna like this, right? When I go out and play with my buddies, some of your boys are not your same skill set. I mean, I got guys out and I love to play with them. They're 10s, 12s, 14s. You love to play
Yeah.
with them, but it's really hard to compete, right? So what's
Yep.
really cool about skins, not just the handicap side, is the team side of skins. So I could go a 1v3 match, and I've done this many times. I'll take on my higher handicap buddies, and it'll be 1v3. Could be a stroke play, could be a match play, could be an assoc, could be something, right? And essentially their low score is just competing against me. And
Yeah.
it's kind of fun as a plus handicap because your buddies aren't really consistent and they really want to beat you, and it's kind of fun. So it goes back to what you're saying about changing it up. The team feature in skins is really cool because you can go out and do a lot of different type of stuff. Like hammer is an example. Hammer's a really fun betting game, right?
Yeah.
And you can do these little team things that are kind of fun.
That's cool. From So you got a great app, you got a great feature set, you're building what you want, you're adding on to it. Now the challenge is how do you get people to download it? How do they get aware of it? And then use that data that you're getting to make it even smarter, better, more feature packed. So what is the biggest challenge you face in getting golfers to download the Skins app and start using it? Is it finding those kind of first movers, maybe is too premature of a word, but finding those people who are passionate about running games,
Yeah.
connecting with them, and then they get their buddies in, and now it's kind of they tell two friends, and it kind of spiders out from there. Is that really kind of the easiest way to get folks involved?
Couple things, right? So I've always been used to B2B sales. So from a sales tech standpoint, that's where I focus. So this is a direct to consumer type of play.
Right.
So when we launched, it was really at the end of the golf season last year. So we did a soft launch into the App Store. What was crazy was with like literally very little marketing, we have thousands and thousands of users in like 9 countries right now. That
That's
was
great.
before we launched the Troon partnership. So people are looking for an app that facilitates their gaming. That's the start. So you got to make sure that you're doing all the blocking and tackling stuff, search engine optimization, app store optimization, all that stuff. You got to get the word out. Getting partnerships like Troon. Troon has 1.5 million Troon card members around the world, right? That's
Yeah.
a big validation. They spent a lot of time with us before that partnership was announced. So that's a big step. I won't say who, but I've had some great conversations with some of the best influencers in the market as well. We've got some things that we're discussing. They're going to be a lot of fun. But really it's about people understanding one thing specifically. The scorecard is going away. Okay. It is going to go away. And it is time that people start to embrace the technology side of it because there's so much we can do.
Yeah.
Skins is free to download. The more we build the community, the more things that we can do that are truly a need for the competition. We got some incredible ideas that we want to roll out. Okay. So having folks download the app and inviting other players. The other things you can do is incentivize it. So, we've got a big back end admin panel. We're going to start running some contests with folks for a certain amount of time. The more people that you invite, we're just basically going to give away a whole set of Callaway golf clubs, right? Custom to those people. So if you can go out and invite the most players, you're going to win. That kind of thing. So there's a lot of ways to do it. Then it's typical stuff, guys. It's TikTok ads and Google ads and Meta ads, and you got to work together with a marketing agency to get that right. I don't want to give away the secret sales sauce because frankly, I feel like a lot of people that build apps are good technically, but they're not good at sales. But
Right.
you got to really understand who your audience is. You got to find out the best ways to reach them. And frankly, working together with you guys, Ryan, like, GNN, you guys have a great audience. So working together with industry professionals like yourself that really know the market is important for us. And so again, we appreciate you having us on in that capacity because this is how we get the word out.
Well, this is the kind of thing we like talking about. Cool stories like this one. Identified a problem, solving a problem, trying to make a better business out of it, make it a little bit better for everyone that plays golf.
Yeah, thank you, man.
One more time for everybody. Can you give them the information on where to find the website and
Of
then
course.
just what to search for in the app stores?
You bet. So best way to find us, just go to the app stores, both Android and Apple, iOS. Just type in Skins, Skins, like the Skins game, app, 2 separate words. You can go to our website, which is skinsapp.com. and you can go and download there. We got a video and kind of some stuff that outlines what we're about. But the best thing to do, guys, the app is free. You go download it. You'll log in for the first time. They're only going to ask a couple pieces of information, and then bang, you're in, have a profile, and invite your buddies, right? Go out, test it out. There's a drawer on the left-hand side. You can reach out to me personally, Ryan at Skins App. If there's a game that you really want to see, let us know about it, right? Like Bob Parsons of PXG has a game called Sweat. We read about it. We said, hey, let's go do it. So we went and just built it in the app. So reach out to us. I'm not saying every game is going to get into the app, guys. Okay. It's got to be cool. It can't be some crazy 45 spreadsheet thing that, makes it more of a problem than anything else. But for the most part, we're receptive. So yeah, go to Skins app, download the app, and let us know. We'd love to have you guys as part of the Skins community.
Ryan, thanks for hopping on with me. I really appreciate it. Really cool story. Pleasure to meet you, and we'll definitely have you on again because it sounds like a lot of big things are coming.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate you.